Yes! Can you do that? He's ready.
Come on, guys.
We good? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Florida Power Team June Meetup. I'm Adam Bricker, your host. These are the dancers. All right! Come on, guys.
What's it easier if I flip this phone? Then this wouldn't be in front of it, and this would be on the back side of it, whatever.
Yeah! Come on, Chris!
Where you sourcing the info for your list, though? For like the different email campaigns?
Yeah!
Where'd you pull it from?
Who's leading this thing? Me? Like this. And all you guys in. Come on, Jim. Come on, Deborah. Yeah.
It's a lot easier if you stand up yourself. Trust us.
There we go.
You can do it.
All right, you take it.
Come on. Challenge your neighbor.
There we go, Joe. We got Chris Salem today. We got Rob Tamboya. We got Doug McGurk and Adam Bricker. We're going to have a good show for you tonight. Hey, Chris.
Tony Robbins events are a lot like this. So he'll do like
All right, Don, it's all
2
you.
hours, and then you get a break. And then you come in with heavy music and get people dancing, so they're at peak state.
All right, all right, all right. Give it up for the dancers. You guys are in for a treat tonight. 5 high fives and then sit down. 5 high fives. Over there. 2. 3.
I'm already sitting.
What's with the underachievers stopping at 5?
Hi there, welcome. We'll get real close so you can see
Oh, it's my uncle!
All right, guys, we got a great show for you tonight. We got a lot of learning, some really cool stuff. The most important subject that I've discovered, the one thing that makes every workshop you go to more worthwhile. Chris Salem is going to tell you how to integrate what you learned in all those workshops into your life. Raise your hand if you've ever been in a situation where you went to a workshop that was really cool, but it never got into your life. Hey, can you pan the room for that? All right, everybody show hands. On Facebook, you raise your hand too, all right? Chris, you got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
We'll do it. Well, first of all, we're going to talk about why, because you can't get to the solution if you don't know why, right? So we'll cover that.
I'm going to teach you guys the truth about habits. So a lot of times you can't break through to put those things into your life because of the habits that are blocking you. Anybody got any habits they want to get rid of? Cool. It's going to be worthwhile all night. We have Doug McGurk over here. Doug's got a really cool situation going on. Who's been to Tony Robbins events? Raise your hand.
Woo!
Okay. Who's really been to Tony Robbins events? Let me hear it. Yes! And who's going to go back for more?
Yes!
Too loud. So much for the program.
All right. In case they tell us to be quiet, let's get as loud as we can for 3 seconds. Ready, set, go.
The door's open. The door is classical.
You guys are so smart. Oh, and while we're quiet,
Keep it quiet.
Rob.
Yeah, keep it quieter.
Quieter?
Just the beginning.
Rob.
Surprise!
I thought he was gonna escort me out.
Guys, remember, when it's time to move to a new neighborhood, remember to tell the realtor you want an area where you can be loud. Think twice about a plus 55 community.
And finally, we're going to talk about wins, okay? And winning's really important. Would you say?
Yes.
We're playing this game to win.
Yeah.
So what's really important is we want to hear your wins. We want to hear what's going on in your world. But the one thing that a lot of us miss out on is celebrating other people's wins. Okay? Sometimes jealousy creeps in, envy creeps in. I know, Joe, you're in real estate. What happens when somebody in your office sells a great deal or gets a listing that maybe they're the envy of the office? I bet you some people celebrate them and some people
Want to run them over with a car.
Yeah. So we want to teach you that when you create the energy of celebrating other people's wins, yes. What's it say? Yeah.
Buddha philosophy.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about all those things tonight. I'm going to hand it over to Rob. I'm going to get technical on us. We're Facebook Live right now. Whose feed are we on?
On mine.
Yours. I'm going to go to George's, and I'm going to share what we're doing with the rest of the country. And it takes me about 5 or 7 minutes. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Get started with wins.
Excellent, excellent. It's been said, people, we are all experts, just at different subjects. It's from Will Rogers.
Yes.
This part of the exercise is going to be really cool for those people who are shy like me. Just kidding. We're going to be introducing ourselves, and we have up to 30 seconds. How much time?
30
seconds. And then there'll be a timer. And if somebody's like halfway through their biography, that's cool. Then we're going to like cheer them, not like too loud though, because we don't want to get in trouble again and get kicked out and go outside. It is the rainy season today. So having said that, but we're going to move on to the next. This way we have time to do everything. Is that fair?
Yes.
Cool. My name is Rob Tamboya. They call me Rob, but in Miami, my name changes to Roberto. And I'm originally from White Plains, New York. We have another special guest tonight, also from my neighborhood. It's a long story, but we ended up in Florida. It's really funny. The coincidence. We also ended up at UPW in 2002 or something in New Jersey. I was like, what? It looks like that. You know, it's like it was. So you never know who's going to show up. So we're going to do the introductions, and a really cool way to do an introduction is you could just say something like, my name's Joe. You have 30 seconds. My name's Joe. I'm a baker or whatever, but I'm really looking to get involved with somebody cool and do a radio program, or I'm looking to start a blog. Mention a resource that you're looking for. Put it out there, because even if I can't really help you, somebody could, like next week, run into me and I can give you the referral. And besides, we all know about the law of attraction. Yes. So let's start. You ready? Let's start on this side. We'll wrap around. Timer's ready? Yeah. Okay.
Time's up.
One sec.
Right about now.
All right, we're going to get back to you in a second. We got to get going. We're from New York. This is like a pizzeria. Take your order. Next, please. Got it. Next. Take your order. Next, please. What do you want? We're like, the Italian Americans in New York invented Bluetooth because they were still using one hand to talk when they were driving, and then when they're home, they had to have something, otherwise there's nobody on the steering wheel. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm Nadia Maria Marisi, and I've been in the Tony Robbins world since 1998. And I do trauma release exercises with Dr. Brasili. It was in Oprah's magazine in May. They had a 2-page spread on it, and page like 82, 83. And I was a school teacher and do a little real estate. So.
So my name is Madeline Fiella. I'm from Hollywood, right here, and I am a mindset behavior coach, a public speaker, and next month I will be a published author. Woo! But thank you. I have and I'm blessed to have 7 other wonderful women in the book with me. So this has been a great experience. And if I may, I'm asking for what I need, right? So I am looking for someone who could sit down with me and show me how to dance. I'm just looking for someone to sit down with me and show me how to work a WordPress site.
Okay, we need WordPress. Go ahead.
Hello everybody, my name is Jane Bornstein and my company is Florida Medicare Plans. And I work with all of the Medicare plans, which is health insurance for the people that are over age 60 or turning 65 or over. And my target market is people that are reaching the birthday of 65 or people that are over the age of 65 and they're still working and they just realized their deductible has they have a very high deductible at work. And as I said, I work with all of the Medicare plans. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Annette Ramratton. I'm visiting from New York.
Welcome.
I'm from Westchester County, Peekskill, New York. So I'm here visiting friends and family. Adam, I'm lucky enough to be here when this event happens. So I'm an accountant by profession and new to the coaching industry. I work with people who want to overcome anxiety, panic attacks, and I go by passionately living because the passion within us can really help us in all areas of our lives.
Hey everybody, my name is Lindy Eldridge and I am your Chief Happiness Officer of the Happiness Jungle. I am a keynote speaker, I am an author, co-author, and I also have a TV show. And I'm looking forward to being on many more stages throughout the world. I am your Chief Happiness Officer and I help you de-stress.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Hi, my name is Deborah Paiva. I'm a board-certified health, wellness, life coach. I'm a published author, and I'm a motivational speaker, and I'm also a jazz vocalist. And I know that sounds very spread out, but to me it's all communication. And I'm actually right now starting to integrate my singing into my speaking as well. And I'm looking for podcasts or to do podcasts and things like that to help promote my book, which is called Heal Your Heartache, 5 Steps to Reclaim Your Life After a Breakup, Divorce, or Loss of a Partner. So I wrote that book from experience to help other people to find hope again.
Excellent. Welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm George. I'm from South Florida. I'm in tech sales and I'm just excited to be here. So, yeah.
Social committee chairman.
So one of the things we're doing now is we're going through wins.
Oh, wins? Okay.
George just booked 2 events for us. So that's a huge win. Everybody give it up for George. We have a bowling event coming up in July and we have a happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
So one's family friendly and one's definitely not. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
And we're looking for 1 or 2 more people to join up as well too. So anyone ready to step up and, contribute, reach out to me after the event or via Facebook. So
if you have a social security card, you can join our social committee. You don't have to be a social lady. Awesome. Next, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ariel Cohen. I own a local digital marketing company, and this is my first meetup, so I'm excited to be here, and I think every day I'm alive is a win.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my name is Cindy, and I've been involved in the Tony community probably about 19 years.
Wow.
My passion is energy work, feng shui, and space clearing, whether I do it in your home or remotely. I love talking to big groups, and I really haven't been practicing much over the last 8 years because I built my brother's superfood company and then decided to retire. But retirement is not my thing, and so I need to come out of the closet now, and I need to market myself. So if there's anyone here,
Future event, putting together a puzzle using feng shui to have optimal living. Yes, love it.
Hi, I'm Donna Levine. I did Tony Robbins in 2000. I am a realtor that sells a lot of real estate. I'm a full-time agent. I work in the Plantation, Fort Lauderdale, Boca area. And I'm originally from Far Rockaway, New York. I've been down here for 46 years, and I'm a mother of 2 grown children and loving life.
Yep. There's a few of us that have no accent to New York.
Hi everyone, I'm Farida Salem, and everybody knows me. I sell commercial trucks, and that was my beginning of my business 15 years ago when I knew and went to seminars with Tony. But now is my different career change, and there's more things in life that I would like to do.
Love it.
Hi everyone, my name is Joe Hillner, and I make people's fantasies come true. But not in the way that you do. I actually run a real estate business between here and West Palm Beach. I attended UPWLA just 2 months ago, so I'm brand new to the Tony world. And I'm hoping tonight that one of you, like I, attended the Tony Dean Graziosi live event just not long ago, and if so, and if you bought the Knowledge Business Blueprint like I did, I'd like to talk to you about it.
See that? People like him go into a place, it's a former swamp. There was a swamp with snakes and mosquitoes, and they turned it into resorts and condos. Love it. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Wally Sharif. My company is Night Owl Properties, and I'm a real estate professional. I'm really an investor because I work to help distressed homeowners who may be having problems with their house. Born in the Bronx, raised in Brooklyn, and my win is nothing bothers me because the alternatives can always be worse.
Wow.
Hi everyone, my name is Natasha Marshall. I'm in the medical field. I've been in the medical field for like 25 years. I specialize in the heart. I do ultrasound. I dip and dab in a little bit of aromatherapy, herbalist. I'm a doula, and I do hospice care. Wow. So I'm trying to find connections to help me build my own business.
Some of them are right behind you. They're in medical also. We can choose later. Excellent, excellent.
Hi, my name is Pat Rogers.
Hi, Pat.
Hi, Pat. Very good, very good. You all are trained already. No, I'm just kidding. My name is Pat Rogers, and she did me. Okay, my name is Pat Rogers. I am the #1 event coordinator who sets a platform for entrepreneurs to be seen and heard. I also market legal and identity theft services, and I do social media marketing for those of you who do not like to market your events online, or for those of you who just don't have the time. Pat Rogers here. I am the CEO who is in service where people need people. I would love to.
Yes,
Great energy.
my name is Donovan Brown. I am a recording artist. I just recently did a song named Cabin About Mentality. You know, it's an inspiring song, and I hope that this song will change the world, you know.
Wow.
Yes.
Let us know. We can post your link through our website.
Yes, I'm working on a music video right now, you know.
Love it. Dancers, there might be some opportunities.
Oh,
Nurse Pat.
My name is Pat Cohen. I'm a retired 49-year critical care nurse. I hear that you become like the 5 people you hang around with. And right now I'm having a hard time which 5 I want to choose because y'all are all awesome.
Love you, Miss.
And my passion is to contribute to wellness. Lord knows I've helped enough critical patients stay out of the grave for a little while, but find it much more rewarding to help you stay well.
That's awesome. So, wellness nurse. Dr. Stoller, no relation to my business partner, Eric Stoller. They're both from Brooklyn. Go ahead.
Well, he's my brother from another mother. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Howard Stoller, commonly known as Dr. Howe. I am, the way I see it, a healer by divine appointment. I am a licensed acupuncture physician, doctor of alternative medicine, RFB technologist, personal trainer, Qigong instructor, and among other things, I love to help people achieve their greatness. And this all, of course, comes from within, and it involves many different aspects and many different levels. I'm here if anyone has any questions. Love to meet you. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ismael Rubin, teacher, speaker, best-selling author, and my favorite role is that of a gratitude gangster. What? So what my ask is, I'm looking for more stages to speak on, more blogs, more podcasts. So if you know anyone that's looking for a gratitude conversation, please let me know. My big win is that one of the celebrities that I have been trying to get to do an interview with said yes. So we'll wait till July.
professional organizer, and now I'm in travel. I'm started getting healthy, and I started losing weight and started walking, and I realized, oh, I'm gonna take it for travel and start putting together walking tours and hiking. So I'm not sure my ask really is about probably starting blogs. I've never done that, and also getting on Facebook Live.
Hi everyone, my name is Sonia Barnes, and my winning is the day when I landed in America.
Woo! Yeah!
I'm originally from Montego Bay, Jamaica. 14 or 15 children, came here, worked very hard, put myself through school, got my job at the sheriff department, retired after 26 years and 9 months, started a non-profit organization, Marketplace of Wellness, where failing is not final. I want to help parents with children who are not bad kids, but just need a little support. And I also want to help people when they return from prison to get them back in society, let them get rid of the shame and the guilt and be who they are. So right now, website. That's my ask.
Need websites? Anybody have any teenagers around for the summer? Okay, here we go.
Okay, my name is Wally Waiters, and I am a conscious creator. I've been an executive television producer for the past 25 years. And what I've been doing for the 25 years, helping companies be, do, and have what they want. Now I'm shifting that direction to helping people be what they choose to be, do what they choose, and have what they want to have. Wow. And my big one recently, I just got signed with as executive producer and VP of Business Development, Brand Star Media, right down the street in Pompano Beach. And my ask is, if you want me to share with you, to your group, to your church, you want to be interviewed online, I'm looking for people to do that.
Excellent. We get TiVo or cut the cord and do business with Wally and get our brand out there. Yes. Who did I miss over here? Go ahead.
I'm Sabrina Martinez. I work in company, open up new business. But my real desire is to start changing around and start working for children.
Excellent.
So that's something.
Feed children. There you go.
Back here with John. My name is Rob Tamboy, for those who can't wait. I'm one of the team leaders of Power Team. It's not about me, it's about we. And a lot of us, work hard to put these events together. And if anybody wants to join to help, with creating events and contact and finding speakers, including yourself and others we could use your help. There's a handful of us that put these on. It's completely for free. It's like a real not-for-profit. It's all about community. We don't make any money here. We don't charge anything. It's all about giving back. My company is called Champion Mindset Events. I'll tell you later, a special announcement, but I do have a big event coming up the day after your event. It'll be on Thursday this week, the 20th. It'll be at the Embassy Suites in Fort Lauderdale. Enough about that. My Twitter and Instagram is @ChampionCoach. Get it. I'm a goal acceleration strategist or a coach with Champion Mindset. So there you go, Champion Coach. That's my social media. I want to bring up my good friend Adam. We met at a convention center. In what, parking lot?
Parking lot, yeah, the parking lot.
You guys know the Broward County Convention Center. We just happened to park next to each other, and then it just got compounded from there. We become good friends, and he'll tell you more. We're at a UPW event. Here we go.
Hi everybody, Adam Ricker, and I have a huge win I want to share with you. I have been invited to be and accepted the National Sales Director of the Easy Card Digital Business Company. Yes? Here's how it works. Take out your phone. Everybody take out your cell phone, and I want you to send a text to this number, 64600. This is how we all stay connected. Okay, you're going to hear a lot of information here today that you can't follow, and some of the notes might be hard to take. But send a text to 64600 and send the word Power Team. When you say send Power Team, it's going to send a link to your phone that's going to get us all connected. Anybody has a problem with 64600, let me know. As a matter of fact, there's a bunch of other people in the room who have cards. Who else has cards? And that's on Passion. So if you send the word Passion, you're going to get a Nets card delivered to you. Wally's got a card. Wally's an executive producer. He just told you with the with Brand Star. So his is producer. So it's real easy. You just send these words to this keyword, and it delivers the card right into your phone. On the Power Team, what we have is the schedule of events. Chris's event for tomorrow's on there. Rob's event's on there. Doug's event's on there. All the information to get Doug, he told you, and you'll hear more about it. But if you want to connect with him, all of our contact information is there. Wally's producer. Anybody having a problem? Were everybody able to get in the Power Team?
Yeah, well,
cool. You got the
sending
directory?
me messages.
Cool. Yeah, click that right there. There it is. Everybody else? You get it?
Saying
Yep.
welcome.
Click on that link and
I've
you'll
been
get.
on it forever.
You'll get Joe's on the director. Anybody? Who did I miss? Cool. Anyhow, that's my huge win. Thank you so much. By working with everybody and connecting everybody, this really helps me. Chris, wins.
Start right now?
Wins, yeah.
Okay, in terms of wins, I've had quite a few, which is great. My radio show, Sustainable Success, has recently passed 30,000 active listeners. So, again, the radio show is on the Voice America Influencers channel, which is the second largest internet radio platform in the world. And again, we've had some great guests on there, like Jason McCann, the CEO of Veridesk, Bob Berg, the Go-Giver. Bob is right here from the great state of Florida, right up in Jupiter, right? So everyone know Bob Berg, get to know him. He's a great guy.
He's amazing.
So I can connect you if you like. He's a wonderful man. And in terms of some other things, I currently are concluding a workshop for a company called the Unitex. And they are the largest cleaner of garments and linens for hospitals nationwide. And for the first time, this company understands the importance of communication, and we are showing their staff or their management how to communicate with their staff more effectively so we can create a more robust corporate culture that we can retain their staff, the key people that really run that organization. There's a lot of turnover because those jobs are very repetitive. You can get bored very, very easily. And when people are not talked to correctly, it just expedites that process. So we're working together to use communication strategies and effective listening to really offset that so we can produce an environment where people want to thrive and grow. So that was a win, and we're looking to roll out this program to all of their divisions nationwide. So I'm really excited about that.
Awesome.
Doug wins.
Or am I just starting to?
Yeah.
So give it up for everybody yourselves. Come on.
I don't even know how to share my wins because you're all like killing it. I feel like I got to make stuff up now. Like, just be on your level. Awesome. So my name's Doug. How are you? I unfortunately did not remember everyone's name as you were going by, but I'm going to do my best to make that happen. I didn't even get your name when you walked in. Was it?
Well, Donovan Brown.
Dan Brown?
Donovan Brown.
Donovan Brown. Yeah, there you go.
My stage name is Vicescript DB. You can Google
Vicescript? I get it. I get it. All right, got it. Okay. So, love it. So, to start with a win, as Adam shared, how many of y'all, we did go over this with some new people, how many of y'all are familiar with Tony Robbins? Right? How many have no clue who Tony Robbins is? Okay, and who's not going to raise their hands no matter what I say? Right? There's always a few, thank you. So we got this, how many of y'all did go to an event with Tony? How many have not yet gone to an event? Okay, awesome. And so I just want to kind of get an idea of where we're at for this to mean anything. How many of you, when you went to an event, like, it was a game changer? Like, something happened where you're like, aha, right? Started to get it and really started to apply. And that's what Chris is going to talk about, is how do you implement it, right? Because how many have done that, gone to an event, and then you're on fire, and then it starts to dry and, go down a little bit. So here's the thing with any training. You don't go to one, and then you're done. Right? You don't eat one salad and go, wow, that was good. Big Macs, here I come. You don't walk around the block once and then go, okay, marathon, I'm ready. True or true?
True.
There's a lifestyle shift, and that's what Adam's going to talk about, is also habituating the conversation that Chris is going to talk about so that you get the most out of all these experiences. Does that make sense? So many moons ago, I had to reinvent myself. How many had to do that? Maybe had one career and then had to find another. Maybe you were in a relationship and then had to find another. Who here is still looking? Okay, look around the room. Okay, okay.
Just want to make sure that's not a habit.
Right. So many moons ago, my first career was in the music industry, and was very successful in it. I worked on well over 150 million records sold, worked on multiple Grammy-winning records with Celine Dion, J-Lo, and this other acts, won a bunch of Emmys. And then Napster came along. Am I old enough? I'm the only one who remembers Napster. Okay. So Napster was what the Airbnb was to hotels, and what Uber and Lyft and Trip and all these other ones was to transportation. Didn't have as fancy a name. It was just a philosophy that changed. So I had to reinvent myself. And I was blessed enough to create my career, my extraordinary career in music, by applying Tony Robbins' philosophies. How many of y'all remember Personal Power? 30 days, yeah. So I had, I'm going to date myself again, cassettes. I had it on cassettes. Anyone else have the cassettes? All right, yes. So I applied the technology to my life, and I went to one day at college, and I'm like, nah, that's it, this ain't gonna work. And I went and created an incredible career in music, but then I had to reinvent. And during that time, I was able to get fully into the Robbins world, and I went to an event, and how many of y'all remember the first UPW you went to? How blown away were you? Like, it was just mind blown, right? And I didn't even meet any crew. I'm sure I met Rob that day. Believe it or not, I don't remember meeting Rob. That's how blown away I was. So, maybe it wasn't that, it was at a crew. But anyway, I realized that this is what I wanted to do, and I went to another event. I went to a T. Harv Eker MMI. And I'm sitting down there, I'm like, oh, these are great, I'm gonna go to all these events, and I'm sitting there, and then I hear people talking about the Firewalk. And I'm like, oh, I was at that, and like, you were? Oh, that's awesome. And they start talking, and they're like, you gotta come to one of these power team meetings. And I'm like, what's that? I'm like, well, we get together once a month and we resource share and we celebrate wins and we just, keep the momentum, because you can't eat one salad and go, you're healthy. That's not exactly what they said. But they implied that the community was so powerful. So I was like, let's do it. So I did. I went to this event and that's when we started connecting more and all that. So up in New York, got deep into the system of just connecting in the environment. And then the music industry really tanked, and I had to reinvent myself. And through meeting someone here, when there was an opportunity, they had befriended Jarek Robbins, Tony's son. Like, hey, there's this opportunity in New York that you'd be perfect for. Why don't you apply for it? Jarek just told me there's this opportunity. I'm like, ooh, all right, sure. So I call up, and I've been doing some stuff with the foundation and so forth. And I'm like, hey, is this true? Is there an opportunity? And like, yeah, like send a resume. And I was like, I don't have a resume. I could send you my discography, like all the records I've done. Like, well, what did you do? I said, well, I had a production company. That's fine, send that. Long story short, I ended up getting the job as a peak performance strategist, and I toured with Tony and basically went around promoting UPW. I also was a master practitioner and trainer of neurolinguistic programming, so I was always using that within music, but now I was using it to help people kind of do what you're doing now, like rock your world. Like what I love that everyone here wants to help everyone be better. Does that make sense? Right. So this is a process of to do that, and there's so many ways to do it, right? This is the buffet of personal and spiritual development, right? So we have an opportunity to participate in all of it. So the long and short of it is, during that experience, I ended up getting recruited to work at a treatment center. Someone, a platinum partner, we met, and I was like, I need a place to hold power team meetings. And that's how this started up again. We needed a place to do it, so I started doing this 10 years ago in our treatment center. And really what I started doing, instead of making incredible music, help people make incredible music with their lives. applying all of this stuff to create a life worth being sober for. Spectacular, right? So then, did that for 7 years with my wife. It's incredible. During that time, a win, I'll be quick, wrote this book, Under Construction. It actually just came out last week. I like to think it's somewhat fortuitous. It's the same publisher that published Chicken Soup. And that's how he started. It's going to be hopefully a fortuitous beginning. Tomorrow night, if you're in town in Lake Worth at the Bookseller, we're having a launch for that. And so there's a win. But a bigger win was to re-present myself to the work. So because we're down here, I live here. You know Tony lives here, right?
Yeah.
Right down here in South Florida, Manalapan. I'm literally 5 miles. I could throw a rock at his house if I was. But point being is that he's down here, and I still stay in touch with everybody. And so we agreed that perhaps for the Miami cycle, I could come back and join the team and support the process, get people enrolled into coming to the event. Now, that's a huge win for me as well, because it's kind of full circle, right? I went from working with Tony, ended up working in the treatment world, helping people, doing sales, marketing, training, speaking around the country at conferences on addiction, and now coming around back to kind of my roots, as it were. So with that being said, my ask would be this. Any offices or companies, does anyone have a job or know of one? Someone has one? So I know most of you are entrepreneurs, and that's awesome, and you know people who have organizations. So what I do is I come in and I do an hour training on Tony's content, on the psychology of success, on how we can maximize and optimize who we're being so that we could do even more and have results, right? I love what you just shared. So looking for referrals to do that, and then also we have a special power team group that we're creating. So if you come in to me, and I won't get into it right now, but we're putting together a group to go to UPW that is going to be the best pricing possible. So anyone have any friends or family that you know should have attended and didn't? Now's the time to take advantage of the opportunity, because the cycle's just starting and I'm new in the field. I have an opportunity to give pricing that is like unbelievable. And the value of the conversation. Imagine this. Do you see the excitement, the energy? Imagine this love everywhere. This level of support, this level of when someone tells you their dreams, their hopes, the things they're doing, and they go, I got somebody for you. Not like, oh, really? You're thinking about doing that? Oh, I tried that once. Music. Oh, I don't know about that. Right? Now, no one in this room has ever experienced that because you're still doing it, but we know people who have. So this is why it's so vitally important that you surround yourself with rock stars like you. And the best way to do that is enroll your friends and family into the conversation, because I've never seen, actually I shouldn't say that. I've never looked. But I don't know of anybody who's gone to a UPW and gone, nah, not for me. What happens? They go there first and they're like, what the F? And then they start sipping the Kool-Aid. And then next thing you know, they're like, they're in. How many of you were like that? How many of you the first time you walked in, you saw everybody dancing and you're like firewalked and you're like, hell no. No way, right? And then it started to make sense. And then you're like, all right, let me try the firewalk. If I don't get burned, then I know it's for me. And then you ended up just sticking it out and then realized how powerful this conversation is. So I'm Doug. I'm here to support you. I would love to learn even more about you, to see if there's other ways I could support you. That's, we all have side hustles, right? My side hustle right now is supporting Tony, real estate investment, and coaching and speaking on the side, as well as, doing these book things. So I love you for who you are and who you aren't. Was that good on time?
Yes, freaking perfect.
All right, awesome. So if you need anything, oh, by the way, if you have referrals, I did also co-author a book with Jack Canfield and Johnny Wimbry, Les Brown's in here and stuff. For referrals, I'll give you a copy of this book, just, to have, because it's good.
What would it take to get your autograph?
What would it take to...
Everybody give it up for Doug! Right?
Yeah, hey. Okay, so... Many moons ago, there was this thing called the Power Team. it's doing to a score. Maybe we should turn it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Class right next door.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was this little baby power team that needed some love and nurturing and support, and it was passed around like a hot potato. Everyone wanted to give it some love and didn't have the resources to make it happen at that time. And it went around, and amazing people were giving it love. And then one day it landed in Adam's lap, and Adam said, I'm going to love it and nurture it, and planted it in the ground, and then enrolled amazing other leaders who had been participating in it, guys like Rob and myself, and said, how can we make this happen? And then look what he created, this incredible community of people supporting and loving each other. Wow. Let's give it up for the biggest philosopher, Adam Bricker!
All right, thank you. This, in the interest of keeping this quick, I'm going to break a habit of stalling and make it go really quick. But I'm going to give you some really valuable information here. I'm going to tell you the truth about habits. Okay? I'm going to absolutely give you a piece of information. If you have one piece of paper, that's great. That's probably all you're going to need, okay? Habits. Who knows what a habit is? Well, let me say that again. Who thinks they know what a habit is? Okay? Somebody give me up. What's a habit?
Repeated discipline.
Repeated discipline. Anybody else? Come on, people. It's a power team. What's a habit?
Something you do over and over again with the same results.
Fixed set
Something
of
you
behaviors.
do over and over again.
Fixed set of behaviors.
Fixed set of behaviors.
Things that you do without even thinking about it, you just do.
Things that you do over and over again without thinking about it. Everybody,
other than conscious patterns.
figure something like this, right? Okay. I'm going to ask you guys to have an open mind. An open mind that's not a habit. Is it easy to change your habits?
No. No.
You know why? Because you don't know what a habit is. It's in your subconscious. Of course it is. So at the top we have a habit. Okay? So it looks in your world like it's something that you do again and again and again. For this minute, will you play with me? I'm going to suggest that a habit is a thought you think again and again and again. The process of what you do, the action of what you do, is the result of your habit. Mm-hmm. So when you try to change the action, you're not really changing the habit. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the habit matches the action. When your habit matches your thought, that's called being in alignment. If you wanted to write down a second word, the second word to write down is in alignment. Okay? When your habit matches your alignment. When your habit matches your action, you're in alignment. Thank you, Rob. How does that look? If you believe that you do not smoke cigarettes, and you do not smoke cigarettes, you're in alignment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Who smokes cigarettes? Who doesn't smoke cigarettes? How much willpower do you need not to smoke cigarettes?
None.
Okay, none. Okay. So if you believe you smoke cigarettes and you do smoke cigarettes, then you too are in alignment. Okay? You believe you don't and you don't. Physical matches thought. Make sense? Mm-hmm. You believe you do and you do. Physical matches thought. You're both in alignment. Now, a person wants to quit the habit of smoking cigarettes. What do? Instead of smoking, they decide, I don't smoke. They don't smoke. So now they're out of alignment. Tony Robbins says, you will violate your values to stay in alignment. Okay, this is the key here. This is the key. So you believe you smoke, you believe you're a smoker, or in any case, you believe you bite your nails, you believe you're not worthy of getting this, you believe you don't follow through, you believe you don't find the person that you want to have an awesome relationship with. Whatever that subconscious belief is, you usually don't see it. When you said we do it without thinking, okay, what we've done, the power of habit is so strong, is we assign it to our subconscious. Or unfortunately, it gets assigned there through big emotions or through your parents, teachers, or coaches when you were young. So you might be carrying this for a really long time, okay? So here's the clue. When you try to change the physical action and it doesn't stick, okay, by the way, that's called willpower, okay? Anybody know what willpower is? It's just trying to act out of alignment to improve your life. You want to act out of alignment to improve your life. So I don't want to smoke, so I stop smoking, and then what? Zoom, you go right back. Okay? So you're out of alignment. You go back, right? Now, how do you do permanent change? You just got to change the belief. Problem is, we don't usually know the belief. By the way, if you're using willpower, and then all of a sudden it gives out on you, what do we call that? Get ready to write another word.
Relapse.
Called self-sabotage. Okay? Do you guys want a really good definition of self-sabotage?
Sure.
It's acting in alignment with your beliefs. Self-sabotage is acting in alignment with your subconscious beliefs, even though you don't want to. When that person picks up the cigarette again, they're just acting in alignment. So the key is to find out what your subconscious belief is. So the bottom line, the next thing, the last thing, what would somebody have to believe to blank? What would somebody have to believe to keep smoking? What would somebody have to... What's that?
I gave him a hint.
Oh, yeah. So, when you change who you are, it's only temporary until you change your self-image. And when you change your self-image, you can make it rock solid. What would somebody have to believe to keep smoking? Wouldn't you? Go ahead, love.
I'm sorry, but I have to leave early. I gotta get up 3:30 in the morning.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, you want to leave in the middle of my presentation?
I hate to.
Come on, go. Everybody say goodbye.
I can relate to you.
Oh, she's a smoker, that's why she's getting.
Yeah, she's walked in. Well, thank you. So glad you came. Now change your habits, okay?
Come on,
Cool.
smoking.
So we're gonna wrap. I'm just gonna wrap it up over here. We're gonna put on some music. We're gonna say goodbye to
Shatamini Marshall.
Shatamini Marshall. Everybody say goodbye to Shatamini. The rest will be on Facebook.
Okay.
Cool.
So what page do I go on?
I'll contact you.
You go right here,
You
love.
spoke on the phone the other day.
You go right here.
Okay.
You text Power Team to
I already
646.
researched the Power Team website.
Okay. You just go right here. We're gonna put the link right there for you.
Okay.
All right. So I have a habit of not letting people interrupt the presentation, but I flow.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. That's my choice, not yours, love. That's mine, not yours. So everybody get it? You got your habits? We're going to act in alignment. So when you try to change things in your life, when you go to these workshops, how many of those actions you keep doing are habits? How many things are you trying to break that are actually habits? What are habits? Beliefs. So we got to change the beliefs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for me. That's my philosophy. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a huge treat for you tonight. Yeah, you can bring it up. I work in a mastermind. You guys ever mastermind?
Yes.
Okay, masterminding is awesome. It's the power of many. Chris is involved in one of my masterminds. He's come down here all the way from Connecticut to bring the most important information to you. I'm going to keep this going too so we can get your comedy out. So, he was born... No. I've had a pleasure of watching Chris make presentations both live and on video. I've watched him help people individually and as a group. You guys are in for a real treat tonight. Be happy you're in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you Tony Robbins. Welcome for Chris Salem.
So, you guys are all here tonight for one reason, right?
For you.
Not for me.
For us.
I'm just the messenger. No, you're here for you tonight. Here's why. Because you can't be an example for someone else that might be struggling or might be looking to grow in their business if you're not here to be the example for them. So by showing up, you did the right thing today, not because of me. What we're going to talk about, I mean, you know, the guys did a great job tonight talking about how we go to events and we get great information, but yet when we come home, why do we lose that momentum? Why do we lose that momentum? We come home, we're all pumped up, We feel really good about ourselves. We can kind of see a vision of where we can go. We realize what our strengths are, and what happens after a few days. Why do we go back? Why do we go back to reality? Why?
Because you
Pat.
slip back into the paradigm.
Back to the paradigm. Pat, go ahead.
Because you realize you have to work.
You have to work.
To get to where you just came from.
Right? Go ahead.
Because we have what's known as a psycho-cybernetic mechanism, which keeps us on track according to our paradigm of ourself.
Exactly. Just what Adam was talking about here. So if you're a smoker, you're doing everything in alignment, but is it a habit that serves you? No. Yes or no?
Right.
No. Right? So a lot of times what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about how you can start making shifts to start taking this information and actually apply it in a positive way that can start making a difference in your business and personal life. Does it require work? Yes. But this is where a lot of times we get distracted by life and procrastination, which keeps us in that area that we struggle in. But before we talk about the solution, we have to first talk about what's holding you back. What's holding you back? So I'd like to ask somebody, what do you feel holds you back from where you are today, right here in this moment at 8:03 in the evening here at Kaiser University? What holds you back right now from moving forward where you want to be? Who would like to be transparent and volunteer? Wally, and then we'll ask her. Go ahead.
Too much time in my hands. And
Too much, that's a song, by the way. That's a stick song.
Too much time.
Too much time on your hands. Go ahead. What about you?
Procrastination, lack of commitment, and confidence.
Confidence. Okay, she made some real key points. Time, right? Lack of confidence, right?
Fear of not being successful.
Fear of not being successful because we had past failures.
Yeah, fear of criticism.
Fear of criticism, okay? All right.
Money.
Money, okay? Money's a big fear, right? So all these things that you just talked about, they're tied to one thing. Tied to one thing. And this goes back really deep, back to your childhood. What do you think it is?
Your belief system.
Self-belief.
Belief image, self-image is a byproduct of that. He said belief system, right? But what kind of beliefs?
Limiting beliefs.
Limited beliefs. See, what happens is with limited beliefs, this is where so many people that are on this journey for personal and professional development, they have the right attitude in a way. They're showing up, they're doing the work on some level, but what ends up happening when Adam talked about self-sabotage is it's like a bucket of crabs pulling us down. It's because of limited beliefs. And oftentimes these are subconscious. We don't even realize what's happening. We're not conscious to it. It's subconscious. And this can happen to some of the best of the best. Think about it. You look at a professional athlete. He's drafted in the first round, football, right? He had a great career in college, but he had a couple incidences here and there, but for the most part graduated, #1 draft pick, or somewhere in round one. And then a couple years into his career, he's sabotaged, he's out of football. Why? All that talent and all this greatness, and now just threw it all away. Why? Limited beliefs, right? So let's talk about first where this comes from, so we can learn how to get out of the problem and into the solution. Okay? Go ahead, real quick, go ahead.
I was just going to say it comes primarily from other people. We're programmed by those around us. We're not born having any limited beliefs at all.
Absolutely. We don't come into this
learn
world
them.
with limited beliefs. It's something that we learn and observe growing up in our childhood. And it's often tied to a parent.
First 4 years.
First, could be first 4 years up to like 10 years.
Seven.
Okay?
0 to 7.
So here's the thing, guys. What happens is, it can be possibly both parents, but it's usually one. And see, children learn subconsciously from what they observe, not what is said. Yes, you can remember certain words that maybe somebody said something that was demeaning to you, but it's really the behavior, what they observe, is what gets embedded deep into the subconscious mindset. So this is oftentimes what can alter your, what you talked about, self-image, self-confidence. And when that happens, we often engage in certain self-defeating behaviors, not even realizing that sabotage us. Let me give you an example. Now for me, I grew up in a very highly dysfunctional household growing up.
Who didn't?
That's right. We all did. Codependency, you name it. Yelling, screaming, all of the above, right? Italian, oh, you bet.
This was before cyberbullying, right?
There you go. This is before bullying. But here's the thing.
Cyberbullying.
As a result of this, see, what you don't realize when you're growing up and you're a kid, you just feel like you're not wanted, right? So when our parents could have gone through the same thing growing up, and they only can be the example of what they know.
Mm-hmm.
See, at the time when we're kids, we don't know that. We just feel that, did we do something wrong? They're not paying, children want to be seen, not heard. This was back in my day. So in this case, I always felt like I didn't belong. I didn't feel like I would never amount to the level that my father desired me to be. So what I did is I grew up not knowing this at the time, always seeking his validation. And because of that, my father was rarely around. My father was never there. And when he could be emotionally abusive. And he was just the type of person that can never show love in any way. Never said, I love you. Can never really, say, you did a great job. Nothing like that.
Because he didn't learn it.
He didn't learn it. He didn't get it from his own father. See, I didn't know this at the time, so I grew up a very angry individual. And here's what happens with limited beliefs. Limited beliefs are always experienced through emotion. And this emotion becomes behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, mine was anger. And that anger played out in many different ways. There were some cases you knew I was angry, and sometimes you didn't think. I had a smile on my face, yet I'm still angry. And what happened was, this would interfere with my relationships, both personally and in business. So case in point, I had a very good work ethic. I was driven. I got that from my father. My mother was very organized. You're an organizer. My mother, you're talking about organized. You two should get together and talk. Because these, you two, you could have a field day here. But number one, I had those positive traits that I brought into the work world. And yet at the early age of 20, I was making a lot of money. I was driven. But here's where it started to go south. See, I would start businesses, or I'd work for somebody, or I'd partner with somebody, and we would start off real good. And then it would reach a point where if I felt that I wasn't being noticed or validated or appreciated, I raised the bar. And what happens when we raise the bar? Is that what we call expectations, right? Mm-hmm. Expectations go up. And what happens most of the time with expectations?
Disappointment.
They go unfulfilled, right?
Disappointment.
And it's not my fault, it's your fault. It's all of your faults. It's not mine. Because that's what happens when you're operating from limited beliefs, because we got to protect ourselves, not our fault. And as a result of that, as Adam pointed out, I would self-sabotage relationships. I would take a great thing and destroy it, and have to start all over again, and repeat the cycle over and over and over again, on various different degrees. It didn't mean like everything imploded, but nothing ever sustained and grew over a long period of time. The problem is we're not consciously aware of what that is. We just know that we're not where we want to be. But the thing is, behind all this is limited beliefs. Let me point out another example for you before I get into what we can do to get out of the problem into the solution. I had a client that came to me about 2 years ago. This was a gentleman that was very successful. He worked for a software sales company, so in this case he was a tech guy like yourself, tech sales. Had a wonderful family, 3 kids, loving wife, went to church, they went on 2 vacations a year. I ended up finding out he came from a very loving family. His parents were very close, he had 2 siblings, wonderful life. And I said to him, why are you here? What can I do to help you? It seems like everything's going pretty well for you. He said, this is a personal thing. I'm a very driven individual. It's not that I'm competitive and it's like a dog eat dog. I want what's best for people. So he, just as Doug said, he blesses what you want. He was that type of person. But he was very hard on himself. And this was an individual that could sell 6-figure deals to other organizations, but he couldn't close a 7-figure deal. Add on that extra digit at the end, stopped. Why? Drove him crazy. An extra digit at the end could not do it. He was doing the same routine that he would normally do with the other stuff, and something would just stop right in the tracks and wouldn't go anywhere. It was driving him crazy. Now, he was a very good man to his wife, so he would hide it from but it was driving him crazy. This is why he came to me. As a result of this, we ended up finding out, and to make a long story short, and I'm going to explain this process that he went through to all of you tonight. That he went through this process that I went through. And as a result of that, we determined there was a period of time when he was 9 to 11 years old, he played Little League Baseball. And it was the only period of his life he did not have success. He was not a good baseball player. Everything else he had excelled for the most part. College, he was popular, he was in a fraternity. You know, he was a reasonably decent athlete, but in baseball, he would either ground out, strike out with men on, and he did not have success. And his dad was his biggest champion. He would be out there, you know, trying to correct his form, you know, at all his games. But what ended up happening somewhere along the line, while his father had meant well, somehow he internalized his father's behavior and what, you know, his father was saying, mostly the behavior, as something that registered that he wasn't good enough in that particular situation. Now, call this kind of crazy, but every time when that man was in a situation do a 7-figure deal, he became that 9 to 11-year-old boy striking out. A limited belief on that small of a level. Because this man did not have limited beliefs like some people I talked to. Very minute. It took about 3-4 months for us to remove that. And as a result of that, he went on to do 7-figure deals and hasn't looked back since. But he had to get to the root cause of what that is. Now, I wrote an international best-selling book called Master Your Inner Critic, Resolve Root Cause, Create Prosperity.
Oh, I read it 3 times.
Madeline knows all about it. This also, this content was also appeared in Jack Canfield's Mastering Your Success. This is a marketing copy, by the way. That's not the original copy that you find on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. That's just a marketing copy that I use for marketing. But that being said, the key is that you have to get to the root cause of limited beliefs. If you're going to have success in life and business, you can't put the cart before the horse. You can't manage the problem. And so many people do it. And this is the situation in this when we go to an event like a Tony Robbins event and we get pumped up. We finally can see the big picture, finally, that I really have what it takes to make a difference in someone's life. Only to 2 days later when you come back, you gravitate right back to what you know. Mm-hmm. And that's what we call a fixed mindset. Just what Adam talked about. Okay? Little power will get you so far, but you'll gravitate right back to the fixed mindset. Fixed mindset means you do things over and over again because that's what you know subconsciously. You do things every day, not even realizing what you're doing. The question is what you do, what that you're doing, does it serve you in your vision, your mission statement, and your value statement in what you want to do in your business and personal life? Everyone should have a value statement for you personally, in your personal life and business. And does that value statement align with your business? This is where a lot of times people disconnect things. See, what a value statement is, what are your values and beliefs? What are your values and beliefs? Are you somebody that comes from integrity? Do you have compassion? Gratitude? Right?
Right.
And the thing is, are we exemplifying those things that we say that we are? A lot of times we're not, because limited beliefs will do the direct opposite. We won't have gratitude for certain things that we do, even though we say we have gratitude, but we don't have gratitude. We say that we're coming from integrity, but we'll take the client because we need the money, but really we're not able to serve them at the highest level possible, instead of referring them to someone else that would be better suited to handle that. That's a hard thing to do, because we don't believe in ourselves enough to know that the law of prosperity, that it'll come back to us. It's like a boomerang. We can't see that in the limited mindset. We have to seize the moment now. Hey, the business is here, we might as well take it. Yes, I know somebody would be better suited for this person, but we're still going to do it anyway. See, that's not the type of, that would be coming out of, that's not integrity. So you got to ask yourself, what are your values and beliefs? And this is the thing that we're going to talk about tonight. First, I wanted to explain to you how to get, what the problem is and how do we get out of the problem. So here's how we get out of the problem. Number one, are you aware that you're not where you want to be? How many people are aware right now they're not where they want to be?
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And it's okay if you're not. You can still have success monetarily. Maybe you do have some good things going on in life, but maybe you're still not exactly where you want to be. It's not measured by money, folks. Success is not measured by what's in your wallet. You do not go to your grave with the money in your wallet. My uncle died at the age of 49 from an aneurysm in the heart. My dad had a lot of money. My dad died at 56. Let me tell you, explain the two differences between these two men. My dad was chasing the almighty dollar because he grew up poor, and his self-esteem was measured by how much money he had. He chased money, he finally got it, ended up dying from cancer, which was a manifestation of his limited beliefs that internalized physically became cancer. My uncle died tragically at 49, however, took a completely different path. He could have been the principal at the school, could have went on to then become the superintendent in that district, making 6 figures. But my uncle said, I'm a 6th grade teacher, and that's what I've been put on this earth to do, to help influence and help change these children's lives so they can become adults and do something great in the world. When my uncle died at the age of 49, it was the 2nd largest funeral in Danbury history. Danbury, Connecticut. People, 6 students that he had now that were adults, had their own family, came up from all around the country to their 6th grade teacher's wake. How many times does that happen? How many of you even remember who your 6th grade teacher was? Some of you do? Some of you might do, but I bet you a lot don't. This is the impact. See, my uncle brought into the afterworld more than what money was. He made a difference. My father had to learn the hard way because he couldn't bring his money with him. It meant nothing at that point. There's nothing wrong with money. Money's great. It's a byproduct of what you become and what you give and put out there to the world. So in order to become that, we need to get to the root cause. So it's awareness that you're not where you want to be. Now, guys, you got to accept where you are right now, in this moment, accept where you are, and make a commitment. Make a commitment that I am worth who I am and where I want to be and what difference I want to make in the world. But you have to make that commitment to yourself. If you're going to believe in yourself, you have to make that commitment right here and then. Who's willing to make that commitment right now? I want you guys to raise your hands right now. Raise your hands right now, and I want you to say, I commit today to get to the root cause of my limited beliefs, and to know that I am worth of all prosperity that is available in this world, and to know that it will come when I give without expectation and receive without resistance. You can remember that word, give without expectation, receive without resistance. You really commit to that and really understand what that is, your whole life's going to change. If you're operating from within the solution rather than the problem. So let's get to the problem. So how do you get to the root cause of the problem? Well, your subconscious mindset doesn't just knock you in the conscious. Hey, here's what the problem is. This is how you get out of your own way. It doesn't work that easy, unfortunately. How you get the subconscious mindset to start talking to the conscious mindset is that you've got to implement a series of habits that Adam talked about, but good habits that will allow the subconscious mindset to start talking to the conscious mindset. I'm going to explain to you what I do each morning. It has allowed me for 20 years to achieve this level of success across all areas of life, relationships, wellness, career, business, whatever you want to call it. I wake up every morning at 4:15. Not because I was in the Army. I just do. Because in the morning, it just sets the pace that there's nobody up for the most part. You can really get your mind clear. I make my bed. Again, I wasn't in the Army. Why do you make a bed? Because it's an attainable task that I can achieve something. It sets my mind that I can achieve everything else I'm going to be doing that day. The priorities that matter. See, we can all be busy, right? See, this is what a fixed mindset loves to do to us. We can be busy. I've been busy today. God, I had 12 hours I worked today. Yeah, you were on social media, you were checking email, you were running around doing something. but was it really productive and did it really matter and serve your business? Did it serve your customer? Did it serve you? Did it serve your family? And was it adding value? You'll probably be aware that a lot of things you're doing are not doing any of those. And the thing is, don't beat yourself up because 98% of the world operates that way. It's the fixed mindset. So the key is that we got to shift that fixed mindset to a growth mindset. This is where we have to incorporate these habits that we're going to talk about. So again, waking up early. Doesn't have to be 4:15, but you wake up early. You have to look at an organizational task. It could be making your bed. It could be organizing your utensils, your silverware in your drawer. Whatever you want to do. Whatever allows you to accomplish something very simple. Then you meditate. These two next things I'm going to talk about are going to make the difference. These two habits alone will get you out of the problem and into the solution. Meditation and journaling. Meditation and journaling. Just like Adam talked about, or even Doug said, you eat a salad a couple times a week. Is that going to make you healthy? That's only a couple times a week. And just eating a salad every day probably wouldn't be the answer either. See, these habits have to be consistent every day. Just like if you're going to be in a bodybuilding contest, you're not going to go to the gym a few times and be Mr. America. Not going to happen. You got to put the effort in, just like an Olympian athlete puts in that training over a period of time. And then when they win the gold or the bronze, whatever they do, they take a break and they start right back up again. It's continuous. So these have to be consistent. Meditation and journaling 7 days a week. What does meditation do? It teaches us how to be present in the moment. Because here's what happens. In a fixed mindset, we are operating, you don't even realize it consciously, that you're operating your lives and your business in the past and the future simultaneously. And what happens when you're in the past?
You're not in the present.
It brings up the past, right? Which triggers fear. Emotions, fears. We don't know what the fear is for, but where it comes from. We just know that we're fearful of making that decision to buy this business. Or I don't know if I want to get into a relationship with him or her because they may hurt me. They may dump me. So I'm just not going to go approach them right now. How many times does that happen to people? How many people are just afraid to approach someone because they feel, oh, they won't talk to me. They don't have time for me. Because they assume and speculate. That's what fear does. It lies to you. Okay? Fear, sometimes fear is real. You know, if somebody's hanging you over a cliff, hey, that's, you're fighting for your life there. But the thing is that sometimes fear can be, if you look at it in a good way, it's just a trigger to tell you that you can't look at it as a way to hold you back. Okay? So in the past, that triggers fear. And what fear does is that triggers stress in the body. And stress can, over time, can lead to depression. And stress also leads to inflammation of the body. This is where disease comes from. All disease can be tied back to inflammation. And you know this, this is what he does. Inflammation. It's all a byproduct of here. Yes, what you eat and the lack of exercise absolutely plays a role in that, but it starts here. Because what you eat, maybe if you're emotionally eating the wrong foods, it's because of what's going on here first.
Break down the word disease. Disease.
There you go. Excellent.
That's from a nurse.
And diet, there's no such thing as a diet. Because you die, that's the first the diet. D-I-E is the first 3 letters of diet. Diets are manage the problem. They don't work. It's a lifestyle change.
Stress spelled backwards is a cure.
There you go.
Dessert.
Dessert. There you go. So here's the thing. As a result, I mean, this is where you got to, if you're going to get out of the problem, the solution, you got to look at, looking at these habits and making them consistent. Meditation is going to teach you to get out of the past and into the present. Now, what happens if you're in the past and now you project that into the future? What happens then?
You repeat the past and the present.
It produces what we call a level of anxiety. Doesn't mean you're like, you're bouncing off the walls. I don't know what to do. It could just be, you could be normal, and but you're anxious. And what happens when we become anxious? We tend to do what? And this is what a lot of people, why they don't, after they come home from a Tony Robbins event, 2 days later, don't implement what they learned. What is that big word I'm looking for? It begins with a P. Procrastination. So we take the fear from the past. Within a second, it goes into the future. We speculate and assume something that is not real, and we tell ourselves it won't work. You're doing this subconsciously. That anxiety then leads to procrastination and keeps you in this struggle, this pattern of just going through the motions. And 98% of the world, if not more, spends their entire life in their personal life and business operating that way. I'm about to tell you today, you don't have to be that way. There's no magic pill. If anybody tries to sell you something out of a box and tells you that you're going to become a millionaire in 4 months if you do this program, you do this, you better just run for the door. Okay? The only body that's going to make a difference in you being successful, for whatever that means to you, is you, and you.
Yeah.
I'm just a messenger. I'm not going to make your problems go away. I'm not going to be able to say, I'm going to turn you into a millionaire. Can I mentor you in that level to show you the path? Absolutely. Can I do it for you? Absolutely not. No one can. And if they did, they'd be enabling you and pleasing you, and that won't be sustainable either. See, we have to learn to understand that operating in the past and the future will be managing the problem and will keep you stuck in this pattern of not implementing certain habits and disciplines that are going to propel you to the next level in your life or business. And the only way to change that pattern is to get to the root cause of those limited beliefs. Meditation, journaling. And this is what happens when you journal after following meditation. You do it right after you meditate. And what happens is you don't overanalyze or overthink. You write down exactly what comes to mind. You don't even know what you're going to write. You might write them. There's sometimes I've written things, and I looked at it and said, what the hell? If I told somebody what I just wrote, they'd think I'm insane. But you wouldn't realize sometimes I've gone back, and they were some of the best ideas I ever had. They turned into a business idea. At the time, it was totally like somebody, I should be in an insane asylum. But it doesn't matter what you write down. It doesn't matter if you write one word. You write exactly what comes to mind, because what it's doing is the subconscious mindset is subtly giving hints and messages to your conscious mindset to what potentially is holding you back. And once you're able to identify what that pattern is and where this is tied to, where this emotion that you experience. Remember I talked about my emotion was anger. So what I would do is, even if I was happy and in a good mood, my anger would still be working behind the scenes to create a new situation to experience the letdown and experience the anger over and over again. Another failed business venture. It was successful for a year, but now it just fell apart. Here's the woman I'm going to marry, and she's out the door. And then I would just leave that, and I would get involved in other behaviors that would just mask the pain. I was, promiscuous. I would cheat on every woman I was with. I would, steal from business partners because I had to mask the pain. You don't want to operate that way. Mine was to an extreme. Not everybody is like that. Some people are just doing, don't even realize that. But again, it all comes back to that. So the meditation and journaling allows us to get to the root cause of what that is. And when we're able to find that out, the next step is when we talked about awareness, acceptance, is now forgiveness. Now here's the thing about forgiveness. Many people have even went up to someone and said, I forgive you. But they really haven't. And here's how you know that you really truly haven't forgiven someone. See, when people don't realize that forgiveness goes really deep. Think about a cancer cell. You could have a tumor, right? And you could have that tumor removed. But if there's just one cell that is basically, it's almost invisible, that cancer can come back. It's the same thing with limited beliefs, and to the root cause of those limited beliefs. If you just don't say you forgive, you have to forgive from every ounce and every cell in your body. Every cell in your body. It's not an easy thing. I remember when I did this with my father, my dad was dying of cancer when I did this. And I was shaking like a leaf. Because my father was like in and out. He wasn't comprehending everything I was saying. Because he was kind of, it was only about a month and a half before he had died. But see, I consider that my father gave me the greatest gift that I could ever ask for. He was not able to do that throughout me growing up or even as a man growing up. But in his final days, he gave me the greatest gift, knowing that don't end up like me. A broken man who thought he had everything, built a successful business, had all this money, but threw away his family, threw away his kids and everything. And I got nothing else to show for it other than the money itself. that was the gift that he gave me. He said, don't repeat that pattern when you get married and have kids. And I didn't. Been a dedicated dad from the time my son was born, dedicated to my wife, and I work my relationship just like if I were going to the gym every day. Communicating, nurturing it, never, being complacent, because this is how relationships falter, because we forget. We have to work everything. This is why these habits and disciplines are so important. Meditation and journaling every day. You meditate and journal every day, and you do an organizational task, just those 3 alone, it's going to change the quality of your life. It's what you do daily that will change the quality of your life in terms of your wellness, in terms of your relationships, and your business. All 3. And then, of course, you got to incorporate the goals. You got to have specific goals. You got to know what your business represents. Do those values and beliefs align with your audience? Because I see a lot of times when people will be chasing people that have no, their values and beliefs are completely contrast to what you do, but yet you're chasing them. Because you don't believe enough in yourself. But the only one stopping you is you. And you're not alone. Everybody in this room, we're all the same. We all bleed red. All bleed red, but we all have within us the power to change that. It's got to come from within. You got to do it yourself. And it's not easy, but if you step up and go through this work, I can promise you that you're going to see changes over time. Changes over time, and that you all deserve it in this room. And if anybody has told you that you don't deserve it, that's because they're operating from their own limited beliefs. Because when we deflect onto others, that's simply just deflecting how we feel about ourselves. And it's easy to deflect on others. And often parents do that to children. They don't do it, they're not intending to do that on purpose. It's because they just do it because that's what they know. Because it happened to them. You've got to forgive. You got to forgive from the heart, deep. And when you release that, here's how I'll tell you when those limited beliefs are gone. When something would trigger anger in me, a person could cut me off in traffic, and I'd be in a rage. A rage. I could be angry for 2 days. But now if that happens over the last 20 years, I might feel the anger for a couple seconds, and it goes. When those negative emotions don't consume you, not saying you're never going to have negative emotions, not saying that, but they will not consume you. They'll come and go is when you have released the root cause to your limited beliefs. And when you have the ability now to operate from a place of peace, love, and joy, you have the ability to see the bigger picture. See, when you learn how to be present, truly over time, every day, you're going to have more clarity. And when you have more clarity, you're going to be more decisive. Even if you make the wrong decision, you don't look at it as the wrong decision. You look at it as that it's part of this process. That failure is part of the process. This failed, that's fine. I learned, and I'm going to pick where I started again and go this direction and do it again. So when you become more clear, you become more decisive. When you become more decisive, you take massive action. This is going to be the difference between when you go to a Tony Robbins event and come back, when you go right back to the same old, versus doing something different. You're not going to be looking at coming out of your comfort zone as a bad thing or something that feels uncomfortable. You're actually going to embrace feeling uncomfortable. You're going to embrace that, oh my God, I may possibly not be able to pay the bills next month. But knowing that if I'm staying the course to my values and beliefs to go after what I believe in is going to make a difference in my life, my family, and others, that your faith, whatever you want to call it, some people are you call it, Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, universe, whatever you want, it's all energy. Mm-hmm. Your faith will do its part when you do your part. That's right. Your faith alone is not going to do everything for you, because what I'm saying to you? It's going to say to you that if I'm your faith, if I do everything for you, you're not going to become more than what you are. I'm pleasing and enabling you. You got to step up. You got to step up. Empathy and kindness. That's what it's telling you, folks. Empathy and kindness and gratitude. You do that, it's going to come. It's going to come. Even when things look like they're going to fall apart around you. See, the thing is, when things are falling apart around you, that means everything's coming together. It's just that people will drop out when that happens.
That's right.
You gotta believe in the process. See, this whole thing that I'm talking to you about is a process. Success, whatever that means to you, is not the outcome. You start chasing outcomes, you're gonna get distracted and start chasing all these different things. Oh, I can make money over here. Oh, let me join up with you. Oh, you're saying that one's better? Okay, I'll come over here. How many people jump around and do that? Because they're chasing the outcome. They're chasing, like my father, money. The money is just a byproduct of what you put into the process. You commit to the process and show up in the moment and do what you have to do in the moment. Every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year, eventually it will lead you to where you want to be. It may not be always exactly what you thought it would be, but it will be close. And sometimes even better than you thought when you show up. So here's the thing. When you operate in the solution from a place of higher self-confidence and self-esteem, incorporating those habits that I just talked to you about, now there's others, eating healthy, breakfast, working out, you gotta take care of your sleeping, right? Okay, and I'm gonna discuss with you the 8 pillars of wellness too, and how this plays a role to sustain what we're talking about. But here's what I'd like you to understand, that when you incorporate these habits every day, this is what's gonna start changing the way you think. You're not going to look at the things that once were fearful of, or this makes me feel uncomfortable. You're going to embrace it. Oh my God, it's going to take me 50 hours to go through this program, but it's necessary for me to go from here to here. You're going to look at it not as something, I don't want to do. You're going to look at it as I want to do it, even though it's not on the top of your list, but it's going to get you where you want to go. You're going to take on new challenges, no matter how hard they are. Because we can't become what we don't do. So we have to do that. Again, our faith won't do unless we do our part. We have to show up. And only you. There's nobody else stopping you besides you. Okay? So let me talk about that when you are in the solution, okay, and you're now operating, you also have to have a plan. See, a lot of people shoot from the hip, or they operate from vague goals. What happens with vague goals? Vague goals lead to vague outcomes, vague results.
Yeah.
Okay? Here's what you want to look at now. You don't want to have expectations. Take that word and throw it out the door. That word expectation should be replaced with desired results. And desired results are going to be based upon what you do, doing your part, and allowing your faith, the universe, to do their part. Does that mean everybody that might be working with you is going to do their part? No. But you're not going to be disappointed because you don't have expectations. You still have desired results. See, your goal is not to put yourself in situations where you're operating in a codependent environment. You don't want to be in a codependent home. You don't want to be in a codependent workplace. You want to be the example of one that is interdependent, that takes responsibility and accountability for what you do, and be the influence for others over time to do the same. That doesn't mean they're going to do it on your time. They may not all do it together at the same time, and some people will never, ever get it. It doesn't matter. You show up and do what you have to do, and be the example for others to do the same for themselves. And then when you come together and do it for the common good as a unit, that creates an interdependent environment that has the capability of doing magical things. Now imagine if the whole world could do that. Would this world be a different place? And the thing is, it sounds easy. And the thing is, it is in a way. But yet, we as people make it so complicated. Why? Because of limited beliefs. Conditioned thinking. It starts with you and what you do each and every day. Just take responsibility for you. Don't worry about other people. Don't worry about your spouse. Don't worry about your kids. You're teaching your children. Remember, children learn from what they observe. So if you're a mom, right, and you sacrifice your whole life for your children, you don't eat well, you don't exercise, you don't pursue the career or some business that you want to do because you put your children first, that might sound like you're the Mom of the Year award. But in hindsight, flash forward, what ends up happening, a lot of times those kids will end up modeling what they saw, what their mother did, and then repeating the same patterns that their parents did. So you really didn't serve them. Not that you didn't intend to do that. That was not your intention. It's all you knew. But if we are the example for them to look at and to model those behaviors for their, what that means to them, that is the greatest gift you can give your children, and give anybody, your spouse, your work people you work with, your business partner, anyone. And these are the keys to what we're talking about. And then when people would see these habits and disciplines, you're going to influence them in positive ways. But they got to be done consistently. So let me talk about, real quick, the 8 pillars of wellness, because I want to be sensitive to time here. All right, so there's 8 pillars of wellness that you're going to be required to sustain these habits and disciplines. There's 8. So Rob's going to write them down. The first one is social. And what do I mean by social? What's social wellness? There's 3 types of relationships. What are they?
Personal.
Well, personal.
Relationship with self.
Okay, there's codependent, independent,
And
interdependent. What do you think is the best one? Interdependent. So codependent means that we have to depend upon people. Now, I'm not saying that in our world we shouldn't depend upon people. There's some cases we have to. Some people can be handicapped. Some people have to, we have to take care of some people in certain ways. But we're allowing people not just to depend upon us, so we're pleasing and enabling them. That is the big difference. When we're doing things for people from a place of empathy and kindness, it's much different than pleasing and enabling. Pleasing and enabling is codependent. Empathy and kindness is interdependent. Big difference. Now, when you look at independent, that's slightly better. It means we're taking responsibility and accountability for what we do, but we put up a wall with everybody else because we don't care what everybody else is doing. We block them out. Now, we can do maybe possibly some good things for us, but here's the reality. See, even in your business, even in your relationship, or anything you do in your community, there's always going to be other people that are going to play a part in that other than you. You got to be the example first, but you've got to get along in some way and come together with other people. Does that mean you have to get along and agree on everything? No. Does that mean that your values and beliefs have to be in complete alignment with them? No. But somehow that they are similar enough, doesn't matter what faith you come from, but they're similar enough that you can come together and agree on something for the common good that's going to be best for whatever that is in your community, in your church, in your home, and in your business. That's interdependent. Big difference. If we can start to shift, a fixed mindset operates in codependency. A growth mindset with those habits and disciplines we talked about operates in an interdependent relationship. That's social. Now, let's look at emotional. We just talked about it. Emotional is if we are emotionally operating in a codependent environment, we're dealing from limited beliefs, we are then going to engage sometimes in certain habits and behaviors that don't serve us. Do you think that's going to lead to things other than that are not good for us? Perhaps we may not eat right, we might be overweight, we might be having a health issue, we have lack of energy. See how they're like dominoes. They can all affect one another in a negative or positive way. So emotion is making sure that what can we do to get to the root cause of the limited beliefs and to find a place that we can find harmony with our emotional wellness. See, you heard that I didn't say balance, because there's no such thing as perfect balance. Would a seesaw, if you had a seesaw, would a seesaw be on its axis? Would it be like that? No, it's always going to be doing this. But you don't want to be like that, and you don't want to be like that. You want to just teetering on that axis. Striving for balance is different. Emotional. Okay? Emotional wellness. Next is physical. Again, how are we taking care of ourselves physically? Exercise. What we eat. See, this is where diets don't work. Okay? Take a diet and throw it out the door, because everybody has different body types. There's male, female. There's different generations. People have different phases of their life. It's not one size fits all, folks. That's what diets tell you. It doesn't matter if you're 80, it doesn't matter if you're 20. Here, take this diet and it'll work for you. Doesn't work. It's all up here first. It's all you're changing your lifestyle. In order to change your lifestyle, adopt better habits and disciplines, and that's what Adam does. This is what he does, right? What he gets involved in, that's what he addresses mainly. But you see, he doesn't just address the physical part. He does what I do too. He gets to this. This is where it starts. So you can see how it follows one another. Next is financial. So are you living in debt? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Did you grow up with a scarcity mindset because your parents said, you know, we're not like the other families. We don't have that type of money. We can't go there. You're never, stop dreaming, stop thinking that you're going to become the next Bill Gates. Just go get a job and be like the rest of us. Or go to college, get a degree, and go work for somebody just like I did. Stop dreaming, grow up. Now, I'm not saying that happened to all of us, but I bet there's somebody in this room that probably had heard that. Okay? This is what financial wellness addresses. It's that we have to address that there's more than enough in this world. There is more prosperity and abundance than you can ever imagine. But see, you can't see it because you have blinders on from limited beliefs. You're looking like this because you're in the past and the future. If you are operating with clarity in the present moment, you are conscious to more things around you. There's opportunity always around you at any given moment. So things that you were blind to before, you will see opportunity. Where you see a problem, you see opportunity. Doesn't mean like people like Bill Gates and Richard Branson are superior humans to you. It's because they operate and think differently from a growth mindset. They practice mindfulness every day. Mark Cuban the same way. You see, you don't know these individuals that do that. You just know them that they're rich. But they engage in these types of behaviors and habits and disciplines every day to position themselves for these opportunities. Do they have setbacks? Yeah, but they don't look at them as setbacks. They look at them as part of the experience. So even if they go this way, they know they're going to be going up higher because they're staying the course. Because their emotional level is in the middle. Even when the roller coaster is going up, and then when it's coming down, they're still in the same place. Their emotions are not going with the roller coaster. That's what most people do in a fixed mindset. They stay pretty consistent. That's the secret. That's the secret, even with taking what you learn at a Tony Robbins event and then applying it and putting it to work. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to have a plan. Now, let me get to the one thing I missed, and I got off track. Your goals have to be very specific, guys. When I say specific, I'm not talking about you just put out a goal and say, this is what I'm going to be striving for. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to get distracted and you're not going to end up meeting that goal. You got to break it down very specifically. And it's got to be time-oriented. It's got to be so specific so that you can begin to manifest that first and visualize it, and then commit to action every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year to achieve it. When I work with clients, we put together what we call a life and business strategy. We map out everything that you're trying to do in your business and your personal life, and we break it down by year, quarter, month, week, and day. Now, Chris, you might say, Chris, how am I going to know what I'm going to be doing every day, let alone for the next 10, 15 years? Well, you will. Remember we talked about I wake up every morning at 4:15, I meditate and journal. I eat a healthy breakfast, I go to the gym, I come back, I read a personal development book, and then I take a shower and I start my day. So those things I know I'm going to be doing every day, 7 days a week. I can put that right down for the next 20 years. I can do it the rest of my life. Now, I'm not going to know everything I'm going to be doing in my business for that day, but I know as I lead up to that, yes, I will. The night before, I'm going to write it down. And I can set quarterly goals, and I can break that down to the best of my ability, and then each of my daily goals will adjust to meet those. See, the secret is focusing on goals that you can obtain, not make them easy, for just that moment. Focus on one thing, accomplishment, go to the next, do that. Don't be thinking, oh my God, I got to get this done in 3 months, and if you're focusing on that, you're going to throw yourself right off. Focus on doing what you got to do right now, and the next task, the next task. 3 months flash forward, I'm here. I did it. How did that happen? I couldn't see myself achieving that. Because you're focused in the moment. That's the secret. But you got to get out of the problem and into the solution. All right, so I wanted to cover that. Now back to the wellness, because I kind of got distracted in that, and that was my fault. That next one is spiritual. Now here's a big thing about spiritual. We kind of talked about it already. Yes, it's having, whatever your faith is, but you cannot put all your energy just into your faith.
That's right.
You gotta first put your energy into you. You have to believe in you. If you don't believe in you to the highest level possible, the universe is not going to step up and do its part to the level you are. If you put everything into your faith alone, I hate to say it, I mean, I know some people like, it's not going to happen. Your faith will do its part when you do your part. It's like with anything, it's a two-way street. It's like in a relationship. If you give everything to the relationship and your spouse doesn't, is it going to work?
Not healthy.
Not healthy. You end up being a codependent relationship. And you end up developing resentment. You become angry. You might have some guilt why you're still in it. And that will lead to stress, possibly depression, and then inflammation, and then disease. There you go. You have the power to change that, to reverse it. Okay, so that's spiritual. Next is intellectual. Are we doing things to stimulate our minds? Puzzles, trivia, instead of sitting in front of a TV for 6 hours a day. Or doing things that really don't stimulate our mindset. We constantly want to be learning. See, education is really important. Doesn't mean you have to go to school. Kaiser, you didn't hear that, by the way. But it means that you're doing something to educate yourself, because then when you're in the moment, you can apply it.
Go to the power team.
Go to the power team. Go to the power team, but not just go to the power team and walk out and say, that was awesome, Rob had some great information. And then 2 days later, not do anything that he even said.
Sign up for Chris's event tomorrow.
Okay? Same thing. So the key is that we want to be stimulating our mindsets. Okay, next is occupational. Are we doing what we love to do? Or are we doing it because we've been led to believe that's what we should be doing, because we grew up in a household of lawyers, so I assume I gotta be a lawyer too. I hate law. Why am I doing this? Or you're doing something because everyone else is doing it, and they're having success, so I guess I'll do it too. And I'll follow the leader and follow them. Doesn't matter. Remember, the money is a byproduct of what you do in the moment. Being the example. In the process, embracing the process. Do what you love. Or, for instance, let's say I love basketball. Now I'm 50, I'm going to be 52 years old, I'm 5'9". Am I going to play in the NBA? Nope. No matter how much I love basketball and I want to, and I dream, no. But what would stop me from being involved in the NBA
That's your
on some level?
limiting belief.
That's my limited belief. Well, that could be a limited belief. You're right, I probably could, but don't tell my knee that. But what I'm trying to say is that, yes, there are going to be sometimes certain, not saying belief, yes, you can do anything. But there's sometimes that, in this case, what I'm saying is that there are sometimes where there could be physical limitations, right?
Right.
It's not like somebody that might, but there are people that do extraordinary things. People with no arms, no legs, that can do things that you would have thought they would be dependent upon somebody. You're absolutely right. But there are some things that maybe, yes, it may not be exactly what you thought, but it's something, but it's in still what you love to do. So you have to be open to that. Okay? Now finally is what we call environmental wellness. I'm not talking about the environment, we're not talking climate here. We're talking about environment. What does your workplace look like? What does your car look like? What does your home look like?
Beautiful.
If there is clutter,
Call me.
if there is clutter, there is clutter here.
Absolutely.
Doesn't mean, now if you're like super neat and super organized, that's not good either. Okay, that's one extreme to the other. But I remember I had a gentleman that was in one of my workshops, and he was I'm not going to name his name because he was actually a comedian, and he was a doctor, so he's pretty well known in New York. And he's a good friend of mine, and he came, and he wanted, and I said to him, I said, do you mind being the example? He said, yeah. I said, we're going to go on a road trip. And he said, what do you mean road trip? It's November, and we're outside LaGuardia Airport in this hotel. What do you mean we're going on a road trip? I said, we're going to go out, and I took everyone out to his car. I said, I'm not putting you on the spot. I opened up his car, and Dunkin' Donuts wrappers. I opened his trunk, there was beachwear. Now, we're in November. Why is beachwear in there? I mean, he's got chairs, we go to the beach, there's more Dunkin' Donut wrappers. I saw some newspaper that was about 1.5 years old. And the thing is, I ended up working with him, and he had a lot of clutter. His home was like that, his business was like that, and he also suffered from ADD.
That's why he had that much clutter.
Exactly. Now, I'm gonna be, see, I'm transparent. I'm very transparent. How many would you believe if I were to tell you right now I have ADHD?
Yeah.
I do. I've had ADHD since I was a child. I was kicked out of 4 nursery schools before I was 5. Nursery schools before I went to kindergarten. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah.
I grew up here in the state of Florida. I was in Tampa, and every time they would bring me, they say, "Mrs. Salem, here's your child. You never want to see him ever again."
Oh my God.
Because I was a hyperactive child,
Yeah.
and I've had ADHD my whole life. I've never taken any medication, because what I do every day that I do, what I just told you for 20 years, I've been able to offset it to the point where you not even know.
Because you have rituals.
I have those rituals.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't need medication.
You need rituals.
And that's the thing. My brother also has ADD. He's also bipolar. And he went the opposite direction and became a heroin addict as a result of growing up around my father. I was down that same path, but I ended up turning it around versus my brother not able to do that. So my brother's dependent upon my mother. And my mother means well. She's a great woman, but she codependent. So I had to separate from that. Now I talk to my mother all the time. I didn't mean I separated from I don't talk to my mother, but I refused. I put boundaries in those environments. You don't find codependency in my household. So what I'm trying to say is that what we're talking about today, getting out of the problem into the solution, and implementing things that you learned at a Tony Robbins event or any event, all comes down to what you do in the moment, in the solution, through habits and disciplines that come from a growth mindset that serve you. You cannot serve others to the highest level if you can't serve yourself.
Right, exactly.
It's not selfish.
Exactly, yeah.
If you put somebody else first, it's like the oxygen mask when you're on an airplane. What do they tell you first? To put it on yourself before your child. But how many people would put it on the child first before themselves? Most people would. They would do the direct opposite because of conditioned thinking. So,
You can't pour from an empty cup.
what's that again?
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely, that's true.
Absolutely.
You've got to be able, you can't give what you don't have.
You have to take care of yourself.
And then, yeah, absolutely. You've got to, the greatest gift you can give someone is being the example. And being the example from a growth mindset. So what I'd like to leave you tonight, if you get anything from this tonight, is again, knowing that all of you in this room have the capability of making this change tonight. And I'm going to do this one more time before we end tonight. I want you all right now to look at, to pick a partner. Pick a partner, somebody that, and if somebody doesn't have one, you grew up in 3. I want you to make a pledge. I want you to make a pledge to that person saying that tonight is the night that I am going to get out of the problem and into the solution. Now, how long that's going to take, I can't tell you. It's different for everyone. But tonight, that I am going to get out of the problem into the solution, get into the root cause of my limited beliefs, and I'm going to start incorporating different habits and disciplines that are going to build my success foundation, that are going to move me forward in my business and my personal life. So I'd like you to look at each other. Say I in your name. Commit today to get out of the problem into the solution, to shift from a fixed to a growth mindset by becoming the example of what success means to me. And to know that I deserve everything good in life, just like everyone else on this planet. Give everyone a high five. All right, guys, right there. All right. So I want to thank you all for listening today. Again, one final thought. Give without expectation, receive without resistance. Put it to use. Thank you.
We
got it. We one of the reasons we're so blessed to have Chris here in town is the event that he's here for tomorrow.
Well, here's the thing, we had to change.
Oh.
Go ahead.
We got good news.
We got good news and bad news.
Right.
We had an event that was scheduled for small business owners tomorrow, but the guy that I'm working with was asked by a group of realtors that wanted to belong. They wanted to postpone it to another date. We're going to do it September 11th now, not tomorrow. I just found out myself. Okay, so Madeline was involved, Pat as well. It's going to be September 11th. We're going to be coming out. So if this is going to be focused around communication strategies to help improve your business, how you can build an interdependent environment in your business, whether if it's just you as a solopreneur with your customers or if you have people working for you. Okay, so September 11th, right here in the Fort Lauderdale area. So I'm sorry about that. I just found out myself.
We'll change it on
So do we get a
there.
refund on our tickets?
What's that? Yes.
I bought 2 tickets.
Yeah, you're gonna get it. You're gonna have it. You're gonna refund. You're gonna refund. We refund. They're gonna refund you, and then you can sign back up again when the date September 11th. We'll go.
Over my dead body.
I love it.
Books on Amazon.
Couple quick things to share. I believe the most valuable real estate is our spirit, our unconscious but very valuable mind, our hearts. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Happy Valentine's Day every day because we love ourselves and we love life and we love stepping up like a strong man or a strong woman, strong person into any challenge, any kind of obstacle or adversity. What they say in New York is what doesn't kill us, only makes us stronger. So that means I can find a parking space when it snows. I really can. In New York City, I'm saying it's possible. A few really cool things to share. You were talking about meditation. I was helping a recent Ivy League kicker playing football, American football, and he practices meditation. He's not the biggest guy. He's much smaller than me, and he's, maybe 155 pounds, if that. And he was telling me that if everybody in the United States practiced meditation as a habit, a ritual, that within a month or two, we'd lose 80 to 90% of all these drugs. We're talking street drugs, we're talking opiates, we're talking a lot of things, Xanax or whatever it is that you can get through your healthcare system. And I just want to share that because I thought it was really valuable to add to what you were saying. And because really, if you're on top of yourself, you don't need, as Doug would say, I don't need to have chemicals to be able to face these adversities or challenges as a real man or as a real woman. Okay, really good news. I have for you a special present. We're looking forward to coming to your event in September. That on Thursday the 20th, it's in the daytime, you're all invited. No cost. It's going to be at the Embassy Suites, Fort Lauderdale. I believe it's 1100 Southeast 17th Street. It's near the Convention Center. Do you know where Broward Convention Center is, that area? And everybody did the sign-in sheet. I think you might have missed it. Where's the clipboard?
Back here.
Okay. You get it?
September the 20th?
Yeah, it's 2 days away. And yeah.
No, June
June 20th. June 20th, 2 days away. The information is here, 64600, Power Team. There's a tab on there with upcoming events, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Also, one of my websites is championmindsetevents.com. Sometimes it's really cool to build your own habits, but when you share it with somebody else and give a gift, it's a gift that keeps on giving, right?
Yep.
So I have something else for you. It's a funny website. It's tiny URL. You guys seen it?
Yes.
tinyurl.com/champion mindset 00 all together. 00 indicating no cost. We just sold tickets yesterday. I was at a little FSR meeting, and we sold 5 tickets, and people paid $1,000. So there's roughly 25 people in this room. So I'm giving you all a ticket. If you want, you can bring somebody, because I just gave you a code if you want to bring somebody else. I already got you included. If you can't make it, I have other events coming up here in Florida, across the country.
What time on Thursday is it?
9 to 5, like banker's hours. We're like Wall Street people.
Do we have to pre-register, Rob?
Yes, because it's always good, just like, hosting parties or whatever. This way, when you come in, you just check in and whoop, right, Pat? You're pre-registered.
Can you write it on the board?
Yeah, I'll put it on the board. I'll put it on the board. But I just want to invite you. I really have good news. I don't always have space. I had an event with Mr. Les Brown
Kind of you, thank you.
a year and a half ago at the New Yorker Hotel by Madison Square Garden. And it was sold out, and people were climbing to get in.
What's the conference on?
It's this one. It's gonna be more for a business slant. Some of the speakers. I don't know if you guys ever watch tennis. Coach Nick Volatieri. He's the founder of IMG Academy. It's one of the top sports training centers. I do a lot of work with athletes. We are also our next event next time in July. We're gonna have famous author Brian Tracy. You guys know Brian Tracy?
Oh, yeah.
He's got some great goal-setting books. And then my business partner, Eric Stoller, another Stoller from Brooklyn, just like Dr. Stoller. So anyway, we'll get you all the information, and I'm really, really happy to be able to share that. But more important is building ourselves and building the power team. So we have a few people involved in helping us, including George, Adam, and I. And I think a few others may have more time now, based on some conversations. Look for people to help promote the power team to other groups. Sometimes you go to networking functions, you meet really cool people. Hopefully they live in your neighborhood, your neighbors, nice people you work with. And we want to grow this, and we just want to serve more and more people. So see Adam or myself or George after the meeting, and let us know if you can be involved in helping to build the power team. And we have a lot of speakers here, and I'm just so delighted with all the talent that we have right here in this room. We don't have to go on the internet and look for stuff. So perhaps we could all have skill sessions where we can all share. And we're also manifesting building power team back up in your neighborhood. Must be nice. He lives in Palm Beach County. That's like the Westchester of Florida, right? Palm Beach County. I live here in Coconut Creek. So that's all I have to share. I'm going to put it on the board, and you're all invited. And like I said, if you want, you can bring a guest. And you can find me on Adam's D card. I'm getting Easy card right here. And I'm also, I do have a Facebook account, but I don't get on Facebook that much. All right, thank you.
All right, give it up for Rob.
Write it down.
You guys heard, was Chris good? Chris told you about meditating and about journaling. Now, I don't know if you guys journal at all.
Yeah.
Yes. But I participated in a project with Miss Maya. And if you guys don't know how to journal, she has a pre-printed gratitude journal that I encourage you to see her afterwards. So it gives you a starter so you can get started in the morning, because sometimes you might not know where to go from. Okay, depending, if you're in the lack mindset and you're trying to make that switch to gratitude, that switch to success, it really helps. And as Rob was saying, we do need speakers. So reach out to us. Our next events, we have 2 events in July. They're both going to be social, bowling and a happy hour. Right? Fun?
Yeah.
And then we're back here Wednesday, August
14th,
Wednesday, whatever date that is, we'll put it up on the power team. All of Doug's information's up there as well. Thank you for coming out to serve tonight. Appreciate it. And Chris got something else for you.
Yeah, guys, if there's anything that you need, what we talked about tonight, if you're looking for just maybe some, insight on what might be holding you back, I might be able to even offer you, a consultation. There's no obligation whatsoever. But if you text, I am an influencer. Put your name, okay, so I remember who you are, your email, to 203-733-8469.
Wait a second, do that again.
Okay, 203-733-8469. Text I'm an influencer, your name and your email, and then I'll set up a time where we can look at what might be getting in your way. I'd be happy to do that for you. No obligation.
What was the number?
733-8469.
Okay.
You definitely need an
And
easy
your
card.
books are available.
My books are available. I do have books here. $15 in cash, or I can put it on PayPal or Cash App.
Can you just say what comes after the 00? I can't see that, I'm
it's,
sorry.
The tinyurl.com. Oh, I'm sorry, I left off something. It's Champion Mindset 00. I forgot the word. champion mindset, I know that for a fact. Champion mindset, and then just add 2 zeros. Because the 2 zeros symbolizes free.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, guys, so just to wrap it up, you know, feel free to network with everybody. I know Vespia's got some shirt. Show him your shirt. What? And then get with me. I have 2 tickets for the Spark Your Rockstar community event. It's an incredible event with Carolyn Rim, 29th and 30th. I'll be speaking on stage there for a little bit. And she's granted the Florida Power Team 2 tickets. So if you're in town and you can make it there, please see me afterwards. We'll get you set up.
When is that?
June 29th and June 30th. Thanks, Carolyn. Everybody say thanks, Carolyn.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Carolyn, you rock!
Adam,
Yes.
I would like one.
Okay, you got a Hindi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap.